Hello everybody, my name is Sandy Boucher, Mishko Pagnan Quain Adishnakas Mangdodem. I am Red Thunderbolt Woman of the Loon Clan and a proud member of Seine River First Nation in Northern Ontario, and I am here today with my latest episode of Surviving Isolation for May 1st, 2020. Before I do anything else, I should let you know that this podcast is now being shared on my Sandy Boucher the podcast format. I just wanted to keep all of my episodes together to make it easier for my listeners to find me. And once again, I'm recording this as a podcast as well as a video. So whatever format works for you, I'm there for you. So again, as always, I'm worried. I'm wondering. I want to do a mental health check-in. How are you doing? I still see for so many of my friends, there's good days and there's not so good days. There's many of us struggling with the fact that we haven't seen loved ones in so long. And one of the things I really saw this week that really resonated and really hit home was the fact that life is going on, which means elders are passing away, people are getting sick, loved ones are getting hurt in a variety of different ways, the stuff that happens in life. And it's just so much more complicated with the whole COVID-19 thing. My heart goes out to anyone who has a loved one in hospital or in a home or whatever the case may be. If you can't see that person, my heart just goes out to you, as do my prayers. I hope you're doing okay in spite of the incredible challenges that this pandemic is posing. Now, just to give us the statistics, where I'm all about the numbers, the World Health Organization, who declared the pandemic on March 11th, which is 51 days ago. Like, I had to do the math like 3 times. It was like, there is no way. 51 days ago, we got the first inkling that the world had changed. For other countries, it was very much a reality already. But here in Canada, we were starting to see the writing on the wall. In Ontario, where I'm located, Ontario Premier Ford declared the state of emergency on March 17th, 45 days ago. None of us saw this coming, or and not anyone I know. And even if we knew something was coming, I don't think any of us sat down and thought 45 days from now, I'm still going to be in isolation. Businesses are still going to be closed. Social distancing is still going to be the law. I don't think any of us can say that. And as for me, because I had traveled and done so many events, I went into self-isolation on March 15th, the day after my final event, which is 48 days ago. I have left the property that my condo is built on exactly 6 times in 48 days. And I think the number of people I have seen in that time is probably right around there too. 6 people, ran into them close to the mailbox kind of thing. And always social distancing. Now, for the people that are adapting and are trying to find a way or have found their way through this, I think from the ones I know anyways, it's those of us who have really adopted the attitude that we're going to accept the things we cannot change. I truly do not allow myself a lot of time to think about what I can't do, because that's just not going to take me any place I want to go. It's not that I'm denying it. It is a reality, but it's not going to help me. So I totally, completely focus on the things I can do, and that has allowed me to continue enjoying my life because, as I said previously, this isn't a mulligan. We're not going to get this time over. I don't get to be, I celebrated my 56th birthday on my own. I don't get to do that again. I don't get this year back, or this, whatever it was, 51 days. So we have to be cognizant of that. And I think it's truly important. You know what, honestly, if you can't do it right now, you're not meant to be doing it. That's the way I look at it. I'm truly embracing that this is a time where I'm meant to be at home. I'm meant to be focused. I am meant to be reflecting. I'm meant to be relaxing and enjoying my life to a greater extent than I have in years, and I own that. And I don't think any of that is a negative. So again, you are going to find what you look for. I'm always looking for the positives, and it allows me to enjoy my life. So whether you agree with it or not, I'm definitely not going to change that attitude. Now, each episode, I always talk about what works for me, what doesn't work for me, and it's been an interesting journey to discover what those things are. What has worked for me? Honestly, completely, totally, and I know there's a bunch of people out there that are going to agree. Sorry, I really need to eat something here. I'm yawning. It's been a busy morning. Exercising. I feel better when I'm moving, and even if that means moving inside my condo, I need to move. I have a job that requires, I do a lot of sitting on my tush, is the truth be told. I used to do seminars live, and I meant standing on a stage often, but I'm not doing that now. And I could so easily sit at my desk all day. And I can't. It just doesn't add up to good things, and I know it's not going to add up to good things long term. So really, really getting up, and you know what, I even set timers to remind myself, you got to move now. Like, you've been sitting for an hour. You need to get up. You need to move. So that's really worked. Another thing is I really had to, and I know I've seen the posts. I know you can relate to this. I really had to get on top of what I was eating and really focusing on trying to eat healthier. So whether that's what you're eating or how you're preparing it, or both, or how often you're eating, or what time of day you're eating. I mean, there's so many adjustments you can make. I like the changes I've made. Could I make more? Absolutely. But as I always say, I'm facing the right way now. So I think I'm heading in the right direction, and I'm going to celebrate that and keep going. The other thing that has been my saving grace, and I own that, and I realize so many people don't have that option, and I'm truly one of the fortunate people, I'm working from home. This is my home office. Everything is here. It's not like one of those people that used to work at the office and they're now at home and they're trying to adjust to not having access to everything. I have absolutely everything here. So I have this beautiful routine down where I start the morning with my laptop and my coffee and my blog in the other room as I'm watching the sun come up. And then I come into my office and I start my day. How late I work? I have actually worked later lately, put in more hours. But again, that's because I'm rebuilding my company. My company got decimated when they said no more public events. You just basically made my business illegal. And I totally support and understand that, and it had to happen. But the reformatting, the pivoting, the reestablishing of my business takes a lot of work, and I'm really thankful for that. It's really kept me focused and busy, so I'm not just staring at the clock as it ticks away. I can't even imagine what that would be like. But let's be honest, that's what surviving isolation was all about, was being real and sharing the truth, and not everything has been working. And I realized as I was preparing to do this episode that everything that doesn't work, or the three I've identified for this week, involve the words too much. Just too much. Don't do too much. So the first one is exercising too much. For those of you who follow my blog or you heard previous episodes, I was walking and doing my steps every single day, and I'm not the most passive person ever. I don't think anyone has ever called me passive. I'm listening to my fave music, which means I'm probably more dancing than walking, really getting into the vibe, and I have a permanent neck injury. And I did myself in good. Like, I'm not bad now. For the record, I am always in pain. There is not a second of my life that I've not been in pain, and that's been that way since 1991. So it's been a while. You get used to it, and obviously I haven't let it ruin my life. But there's degrees of pain, and when I overdo it, yeah, I can do myself in. And honestly, it took a week this time. Usually, if it's not like it's bad, but it's still, I'm able to rein it back in. One day on the couch or in bed, just really babying my neck, and I'm okay. Not this time. It was a week of really, wow, that's not fun. I was really concerned that, like, how do I get back to exercising? I really enjoy that, and will I be able to do that? Well, I'm happy to say I am doing my steps again. I had to acknowledge that I couldn't hit the numbers yet that I wanted to, that I'm going to have to take this at a slower pace because that's what my body needs. But I'm definitely not giving in. I'm not just going to become the bump on the log. That hurts, so I'm not doing it. That's not my style, and I would never give my injury that much power over my life. So that's just who I am. So exercising too much, all bad. The next one, I think a few of you could relate to, if you want to be honest, eating too much. Yeah, it's amazing. I don't want to admit how many bags of chips are in this house right now. I guess the good part, the part I'm going to celebrate and hang on to, is the fact that there are still bags in this house, and I didn't just inhale them as soon as they came in the door, which would have been my normal routine. I could hardcore, like, let's get real here. I used to be able to sit down and inhale a bag of chips, like the whole bag, absolutely no problem. And I don't do that anymore. So that, yay. As I mentioned in a previous episode, you eat junk, you feel like you eat crap, you feel like crap, right? And I was definitely getting to that stage. So enjoying the exercising again, enjoying not eating, overeating, getting to a better place. Last one, have to admit, I just don't like being bored. That's just my personality. Me and boredom have never been friends. I don't know if boredom's a friend of anyone, but it's definitely not a friend of mine. And I don't like being bored, and I don't like just staring at the TV, and there's not a lot of things I can do. So for a while, I'll be the first to admit I was working too much. And that's a lot to do, I think, with my financial reality as well, the reality that I have to get my business up and running if I'm going to survive this, and that means crunch time, and you got to put in those extra hours. But I'm getting to the point where it's not panic driven anymore, that I'm doing the work and I know it's going to work out and I have the skills. So I'm maybe still climbing the mountain, but I can see the beautiful view, and I actually take time to rest now. So exercising too much, eating too much, and working too much, those were definitely my downfall. And of course, I'm always curious, whether you send me an email or you comment on the Facebook page for this Surviving Isolation podcast, but what's working and what's not working for you? I would be thrilled to hear your top 3 and just see how much, maybe what's not working for you is also something that's not working for me that I haven't even identified yet. So please feel free to share that. I would absolutely love that. Now, one of the things I had made a point of sharing in my past episodes was that I was doing those steps, and I had a goal. I wanted to go into May with an average of 5,000 steps a day, and that's how I did in my neck. And I know that number is small compared to other people, but it's relevant to me. So just to give you an idea, in case you forgot, or this is your first episode you're listening to, in February, my average steps were 1,185 per day. And that sucks. That's living proof that my career is sit on your tush. And when I saw those numbers, I'm not into beating myself up, but I did see, wow, I have to change those numbers. So middle of March, all of this insanity hit. This was my opportunity to make a change. So my March average by the end of the month was 2,267 steps. So I had doubled my steps. And of course, me being me, the overachiever, I wanted to double it again, which would get me to the 5,000 steps. Well, with the whole neck thing, I didn't hit that target, but that's okay. My average for April, and I now have it because this is May 1st, is 3,802 steps per day. So I went from 1,000 in February to almost 4,000 in April, and I'm going to celebrate that. Am I still doing it? Absolutely. Do I want to get up to, well, I want to be over 4,000 for next month. I don't know if I'm going to make the 5,000. I want to be conscious of my neck. I don't want to take myself out this time, but I'm definitely going to keep going because that's just the kind of person I am. So last episode, I believe it was, I talked about focus. And I mentioned it earlier this episode, that what you focus on is truly, to me, is what's going to get us through this. My focus is 110% post-pandemic. That this is a period in time and I am working towards who I want to be, what I want to achieve, and where I want to be standing when all of this ends. On March 22nd, I wrote a promise to myself and I committed that I was going to be healthier, happier, and stronger. And I now know for a fact that my business is going to be so much stronger post-pandemic. Prior to this, if you listen to previous episodes, all of my revenue was made in-person events, seminars, workshops, whatever the case may be. And I love that. And I love interacting with the people, and I can't wait until I go back to doing that. But most of my events were what are called closed events, which means it was an event for members of a community, or it was an event for clients of a particular agency. The general public was rarely able to attend one of my events, even though it's members of the general public who have bought my books and who read my blog every day, and they're the ones who have been my biggest supporters. This self-isolation time has given me the opportunity. I'm hardcore working. I'm turning my seminars into online offerings. You're going to get videos like this from me, so personal. It's going to be like I'm in the room. You're going to suffer through all the same dumb jokes that my live audiences have for 11 years. And it means finally that all of those people that have never been able to attend my session before will be able to attend. And it's going to be so much more convenient. They can do it on a day and at a time that works for them. They can pause a video. They can rewatch it. I love it. And of course, post-pandemic, I'm going to have both. I'm looking forward to when I'm going to be able to go back to live events, but I'll have my online events as well, which means my business is just going to be stronger. So there's my silver lining. There's, you know, my focus. And I'm so absolutely thankful for this time. It was time. There was a bunch of people I was trying to reach and didn't know how, and this isolation has just forced me to resolve that issue, and I am so thankful for that. One of the things I have noticed, and I'd be willing to bet that you agree, is warmer weather definitely helps. Snowstorms, not so much, although you wanted to stay inside. But the warmer weather, I can honestly say, and this is kind of embarrassing, I have this amazing balcony on a beautiful street, surrounded by trees, beautiful sunlight. And there's been a couple, I can think of one summer, it wasn't last summer, it was 2 summers ago, that there wasn't one day I was out on the balcony. That's how hard I was working. And I own that. That's pathetic, by the way. I'm not saying that's good at all, but I own that. I did that. I'm the boss of my company. I chose that schedule. This year, my balcony is getting a hardcore workout. I was out there in the sun yesterday. Today, the temperature is amazing. As soon as this video is over, you can bet that's where my tush is going to be. So I am absolutely thrilled that again, this time, and I'm seeing that in so many posts on Facebook, that this time is really helping us to remember what does matter, and helping us to realize what we do still have and what does still work for us. And my balcony's there, and it is calling my name, and I am now wise enough to listen, and I'm totally heading out there. So that's going to bring me to the end of today's event, but today's episode, I should say. Event, see, I'm using this as an in-person event. Before I say anything else, or before I close off, I just wanted to say kudos. Like, oh my God, prayers, thank you, gratitude, kudos to the frontline workers, kudos to those people in our grocery stores, kudos to all those people that are still going to work every day, even though they're probably scared or at least nervous. I mean, they are the ones keeping this country running and making it possible for the rest of us to stay home. So a huge thank you to them. I also wanted to say thank you to all of those amazing people that are now coming out with online offerings. I'm thinking of all those musicians that are now doing different concerts online and just giving us things to watch and enrich this time. And I just absolutely so appreciate it. And I just wanted to send out a thank you and kudos to anyone that is doing anything that helps other people get through this time. I know there's people that are practicing safe distancing, but they're making deliveries to elders and just really taking care of each other and stopping to say hello from the sidewalk when the other person's in the door, but just giving them that interaction. And I know I just personally so appreciate it. FaceTime is another huge thing. Zoom meetings, team meetings, absolutely appreciate it. Seeing another face is just so absolutely important, and prayers for the safety and the health of all of those people on the front line. We literally could not do this without you. I'm doing a lot of reading. I'm doing a lot of reflecting, but I gotta admit, I'm enjoying this time. And I say that so carefully because I realize there's people out there that are not sick, or that are sick. They're not enjoying this time, or they have a loved one that's sick. And to them, I'm so lucky and so fortunate, and I own that. And instead, I'm going to send my prayers out to all of those people who are struggling, because that's why I wanted to do this podcast, to think of you. I hope you have got on my website, sandyboucher.com, and subscribed, because every Monday I send out the Pick You Up email, and it's filled with the hilarious memes just to help us laugh through this. That's absolutely free. You don't need to commit to anything. It's just my way of helping out. Until next week, please stay safe, stay well, and please stay home. I love you. This is Sandy Boucher signing out. Bye-bye.